Well, Jalito, guess where I'm at now? This is the old, what I used to know as Manor Street Apartments. Now it's, I think it's called the Shavelson. And it's going through changes. Right now it's apartments, slightly apartments mostly. Over here, they're actually doing renovations, and it's going to be becoming offices over there. I believe it or not. But it's amazing. It's hot out here too. It's hot. It's amazing. This place looks smaller than I remember, but I think it only looks smaller because I was smaller. But over here, this right here, this was where we lived. I guess it's down. It's Unit 9. That was my old apartment, my mother's apartment. My grandparents, I left my grandparents beginning of time, and but my mother lived here. We used to play, and it's funny because I'm only 5'9", but I remember playing under these. We used to turn like little clubhouses, and we park all our tools underneath. My memory was these were round, so these probably been replaced a couple times in the last 50 years, but that was round. I remember, I think me and my cousin Spring, these little steps here, we were able to like sit here and then put our legs through here, and we eat bologna sandwiches on this thing. And now I couldn't put my leg on here I could squeeze my leg in there to save my life. It's a lot of stuff has changed, and partly because I'm just bigger now. But yeah, it's just, I remember all my cousins and stuff, we were running through here and playing. My grandfather would often park his car like right here. Sometimes he'll get drunk, and he'd always hit that pole there. I don't know if these are the same poles. I know the corrugation's it's newer. I mean, the original corrugation probably didn't last 50 years. But yeah, he'll park his car somewhere in that right there about, if I remember right. I mean, free times I'd be running across the grass and everything, and all my uncles, my grandfather, everyone smoked cigarettes back in those days. They'll flick their cigarette, and I'll be run through barefoot, stepped on a cigarette. Happened more than once, that's for sure. This old tree here, it's been here because I remember we would leave out of my apartment and put a little kiddie pool here, fill it full of water. That tree's it's been there since I can remember. It's original to the place. What's different is this used to be a swimming pool right here, and circling from where that door is, this whole section here circling was like the swimming pools, when you have that concrete, that pea gravel concrete that gets slippery when it gets wet. It was surrounding that, and then all this brick area here was more grass. You could tell it was a pool at one time. When I lived here as a kid, this was all backfilled, so you couldn't even, it wasn't, we used to plant little things. I remember there was a lady up here somewhere that used to plant flowers and whatnot there. But yeah, all this stuff it's a new addition. It's kind of nice. That little thing there, I think originally that was like a pump house for the pool originally. But since my grandparents were managers here, we used to also park our toys and bicycles and stuff there. It's great memories. But yeah, it's kind of strange. Well, Jalito again. Yeah, I was walking around, and I guess the manager or property management, two ladies, and they were nice. They were super nice. But they stepped out of one of the units. In fact, they stepped out of the unit they used to live in, and they told me they don't want any filming or any because it's a private residence and everything, which I understand. So I apologized and went ahead and left. But to continue on to that little journey there, that story, yeah, the place looked super small compared to what I remember. Which is understandable. Now, let me think. There's a whole section over there. I wish I had taken more video of everything. So I'm gonna get to the good part last. But yeah, over by I talked to one gentleman out there, and he said that's because I told him that my uncle used to live in one corner. And next to the uncle, that was an old washer and dryer. It had like 2 washing machines and a dryer. He said, "Oh no, that's a boiler room now." And it could have been a boiler room back then too, but I remember it had washer and dryer there. So next to that was my uncle's room, my uncle's apartment. Now my uncle's apartment was a single little one-bedroom apartment. My uncle was a truck driver, and he I don't know where he got it from. Back in the day, Velvet Elvis. Have you ever heard of a Velvet Elvis? The idea of getting a sheet of velvet fabric, velvet, it's like a black, uses black fuzzy material. I guess it's hard to explain what it is. It's velvet. And people get oil paints and they would paint on that velvet. That was like a thing, I guess, I don't know how long it ran into, but 70s for sure. And a very popular one was the Velvet Elvis. Well, my grandfather, my uncle Ronnie, he didn't have a Velvet Elvis. He had a velvet naked woman. And I don't know where he got it from or how he got it home. He's a truck driver, so there's not a lot of room in that truck, even in the sleeper. But if I remember right, it was like a full-size naked woman. It wasn't like a small painting. It was like, we're talking about a full-size naked woman hanging in his room. So of course, us kids, my cousin, we weren't really allowed in that room. But I remember seeing it a couple of times. Yeah, Velvet Elvis. But my little place, cause all my aunts and uncles lived there. At one time, my grandmother was like a manager, and everyone else, like my aunts and uncles and everybody, cousins, we all sort of migrated in one herd, kind of. So we all lived together, and if I remember right, a lot of my uncles and Uncle Joe, I think they lived on like the second floor. And Uncle Ronnie was the first floor. My grandmother the first floor. Of course, we were the first floor. But there's only one photo still existing that I know of. Now, back when I was growing up, there were quite a few photos. My mother had a big old box of just random photos, and I had photos of me and my cousins all running around the courtyard area, you know, and across the where those carports were, across that way, there wasn't a fence there. That was just open, like some tall pine trees and kind of open field, but a wooded field, put it that way. Me and my cousin used to run over there and you know, play around, and had a little clubhouse back there sometimes. My grandfather, I think my uncle too, but my grandfather, he drove a big old, I call it a purple Peterbilt. It was a big old maroon Peterbilt, 18-wheeler, and he would go over there and jump the curb on the backside, and a lot of times park his truck there because there's nowhere else to park at. He was a truck driver. He drove mostly dump trucks and stuff like that. My uncle was more, if I remember right, I'm not sure if he at that time worked for Digby. He retired, worked for Digby, but yeah, he was nothing more long haul, because often he'll be gone for long stints at a time. But there is only one photo I have left of the old Manor apartment, and it's a very interesting photo. And it's this photo right here. That's that photo. And in fact, I put it in the video right here because it makes you see it better. That photo there is me. It was taken sometime in December, because you see the little Christmas decorations around my grandparents' window. I'm thinking maybe, perhaps maybe late December, because in the photo I'm holding a Batmobile, and so I maybe had gotten that from a Christmas gift. I don't. It's been long. I don't know, but I do remember the car because the car had a flaw. The way the wheels attached to the car, if you push any pressure in the car, the wheel would poke off on the inside, and then I could never get them back on. So I go to my grandfather or my Uncle Mike, and say, "Hey, my wheels came off," and they had a little trick of getting their fingers in there and poking them back on. And I might one of the day, I might go to Amazon or one of these places website and see if I can even find that car. Yeah. But yeah, that was a little Batmobile. I used to make little ramps and jump the ramps and everything. And that photo was taken probably sometime in December, maybe late December. Now here's the cool thing. A couple years ago, like 20 2013, one of 2014. I actually did make it over there. That's before they had it all gated up and everything. And I actually was able to sit in that same window and take a photo. And this is that photo. Now it's hard to line up photos at the right angles and everything, because I don't know who took the original photo. It could have been my mother, my grandmother, grandfather, one of my uncles. And so it's hard to get that right height, right angle. Plus that camera was taken from a camera, and the film was developed in Fox Photo, a little kiosk, probably in up Long Point. One of the little back in those days, you had your shopping centers, stores, and you had Gerlins, and in the middle of the parking lot was a little booth, a little building that you could drop your film off. And a lot of times they had a 24-hour photo of, they'll come back in 24 hours and they'll right there in the booth, they'll do it for you. Print photos out. Kind of cool. So that photo was taken by Fox Photo. Fox Photo. That's who printed that photo out after we took the photo. Making that a lot of sense here. And so it's hard to line up these two photos 100% because I don't know who was taking it at what angle. But this is a before and after compared to those two. When I was taking the photos when I was 4 or 5 years old. And probably 40 something, 48 or 40 something. So that is a span of many years, 30 some odd years, before and after. The bricks still match up. Yeah, that was funny because again, I was a tiny kid back when I was 4 or 5 years old. So sitting at that window at that time was kind of interesting because it just didn't feel the same because my legs, my knees, and I'm taller, I've grown. But that's Shavelson. That's Manor Stream Apartments. I wish I could be there a little bit longer just to take more footage and stuff. But I gotta respect them. They didn't want no one there, so I left. But that starts off my whole series of places I've lived and the memories of Spring Branch area. I'm going to be visiting a lot of places, just places that have memories, stories, and Woodlawn Cemetery, and Speedy's go-kart. Did you know Houston has a fault line running through it? It's called the Long Point Fault Line. I'll be heading out there, and yeah, I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna try to go to some old schools. Going to my old elementary schools and stuff, high schools. That'd be a little more hard. Maybe a weekend gig there, just stopping by and just. A few of my schools have been torn down and rebuilt, so I'll be trying to find some before and after, photos of what it looked like. Maybe some memories of their teachers and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. So that's all I have today. Man, I wish I could be there a little bit longer, but that's okay. That's okay. At least I visited one more time. Kind of shocked to talk to the guy that how one part of it's gonna become business, become commercial property. I'm not sure how they're gonna pull that off. So that's all we have. How'd you beat, let you key.